Okay, the point of this screencast is to talk to you guys about one of the things that the client is really frustrated about, and I think rightly so. I think our time reports are terrible. Um, Now, this is what I'm getting you. I want to kind of, I think though, I understand. The point of this is just to kind of show you what it looks like from the client's perspective and my perspective, and so you guys can kind of understand what the way stuff should actually look. Okay, the first thing is when you're entering time. I've actually been filtering it for the client a bit, but anyway, let me just tell you. Let me just go through here. What does the client want? First of all, we have to understand the client. The client is not John and Kimberly. The client is actually John and Kimberly's client. So they're going to see what we create for them, and we need to think about. They don't want to see links to any of our internal systems. They just want to see stuff that makes sense at a relatively high level. So first of all, I mean, honestly, it's hard to know even where to start, but here I have a time report for Adam for last month. Let's just go line by line for a couple of these to get a sense of the situation here. Basecamp backlog list, that doesn't have any meaningful information. Basecamp to-do list, what does that mean? Imagine you're the client looking at this. You have no idea what that means. Basecamp to-dos, backlog up to date, again, nothing. Checking into SVN and quick quote image. Checking into SVN should be something that you always do, and really, again, should be meaningless because that should be part of regular process. Conference call. Generally, never mention conference calls. I mean, track time according to features that the client can relate to in their mind. So examples of language that I think makes sense is working on the quick quote feature, working on step 3 of the reservation process, working on step 4 of the reservation process, and working on Internet Explorer 7 compatibility issues across the site, working on sign-in related, working on the sign-in process. Okay, so let's keep on going. Dynamic price calculation. I mean, not very specific. Fixing top 5 items from Google document for 3 p.m. meeting. Again, doesn't really mean anything. Fixing missing headers bug. I guess that kind of isn't that bad, but I don't really like it. Housekeeping things. Pretty much anytime you use the word things, that should be a red flag because that's really nonsense. Organizing things, another, terrible. Planet Tran, what does that even mean? That's meaningless. So it's like, I have to go through this, and then I have to think about it, and I have to cross-reference what you're doing with language that I think makes sense, and it's really very time-consuming for me, and it really creates a lot of frustration because also I tend to, it's something I tend to delay doing, and it ends up holding up the whole process of the client getting stuff on time, and this is really probably the most annoying thing in my current workflow is this issue. So I'm hoping that making this video helps out. Now, the other thing, which is what I'd like to kind of so I decided instead of entering time choices, what you're going to do is just do time choices as a drop down. So what I did is actually I created a set of drop downs or options. It should pretty much be everything you would ever need to do. I did this based on basically breaking out every part of the site by different pages, different steps, and so instead of writing in your time entries, just what you can do, because Toggl is actually meant to integrate with Basecamp, is look. Here's every single part. So if you were going to be working on this, you say you're working on a bug related to reservation step 1, just go to reservation step 1. And that will, now I'll be honest with you, but that actually pulls the project out, so you would actually need to type in reservation step 1 bug again, which will take a little bit of time the first time you do it. Actually, there's an S there. Oh look, it don't even auto completes for you. But when you come back to it later, say I'm finished and I want to continue on it, say later, I can just continue it. So basically, if you just work, and then what's neat about this actually is it will actually update how much time has been spent on the actual task. So we can basically come back to this later and we can look at, 2.2 hours. So basically we can have all the pages and then say, oh, look, this entire project was an aggregate of 7 hours for this, 7 hours for 3 hours for that part, 2 hours for that part. Now, granted, like since we're kind of starting this late in the game, we can't necessarily make best use of that, but this would be a pretty cool feature to be able to do going forward. I'm jumping around a little bit, but so the bottom line is here, don't write entries, select them from a drop-down related to the to-do list of the project. Now, you will obviously occasionally find that you're working on things outside of the project. In particular, into this project, sometimes we have to do jump stuff into the live site, but just what I would do in that occasion is just like create a new. There actually in this project actually is an entire other list related to the live project, but just use some common sense. Take the time to make descriptions that actually describe what you're doing, and I think we won't have a problem. And I think even just this to-do list here, which pretty much breaks out every single page and every step related to this project. I think the client, if they just see every month a list of times, which these are the descriptions. Server configuration, bugs related to scheduling system, bugs related to reservation system, bugs related to Internet Explorer, bugs related to Quick Quote, et cetera, et cetera. The upcoming section, past trips and receipts. I think this would go a long way. So, plus, anyway, I think I'm just gonna chill out and hope this kind of is enough to speak for itself. Take care and all that. talk about related to this is you guys should be bundling, like starting and stopping. Okay, like let's look at how the actual tool works, okay? If you're actually using this tool, and I'll delete this one, shouldn't have been going, but like, say I start something, right? Now the whole point here is that this integrates really well with Basecamp. So I know we haven't been perfect about this in the past, because one thing we should never have is, all right, imagine we have in Basecamp, we have iterations saying like what we're trying to work on that week. So really, these tasks that are in Basecamp are actually, generally speaking, very well worded, and that's part of the reason why there really should be no excuse about making stuff not properly worded, because all you should be doing is referencing the stuff that you're working on to actual features that we've requested using the language that we've requested them in. So if you're going to, for instance, work on, let me just pause this for 1 second.